Hey vinyl friends and vinyl community, it's Brian from Brian's Vinyl Records, and it is Monday, which means it's another episode of Vinyl Editions. So, I'll caveat this by saying that most of the stuff that I have this week was stuff that I had purchased long before that have finally arrived and things like that, because I didn't buy anything new last week until the end of the week. So this past weekend I did go out and finally pick up a couple records, but we'll get to that. So first and foremost, I want to start with some used records that I bought off a gentleman that I buy from quite a bit in the vinyl community. Sells pretty good quality used records at pretty decent prices. So I pick up things I fill my catalog with, and so we'll start with this. This is Bob Dylan's Greatest Hits Volume 2. So I have Volume 1 already, so I figured I might as well pick up Volume 2. The price was priced really well, so I said, what the heck, it's a double album set, and so looking forward to popping this on. I've been really getting into Bob Dylan a lot since joining the vinyl community, and so it's nice to have this one. This next one is something I bought for myself because, as everybody probably knows by now, I'm a big fan of this artist, and this is just kind of cool, so I thought I'd pick it up for the price it was. This is the Michael Jackson Thriller 12-inch single, and it's called the instrument. It has the instrumental, but it is the special 12-inch dance single. So I'm not sure what that means. I have not listened to it yet, but it contains the song Thriller and then the instrumental version of Thriller, which I think is kind of fascinating. So pick this one up as well. Also from that same gentleman, I picked this up. This is a complimentary to the version I really already have, and also this is a much better copy than what I have. Plus, this is the mono version of the album. So real excited. Meet the Beatles. Added this to my collection, so excited to have that as well. And the last one from that gentleman is this one here. This is Stevie Nicks' album. I think it's Rock a Little. Yeah, Rock a Little. So this is the second Stevie solo album that I've gotten, and really looking forward to that as well. This next one is one I wasn't planning on buying, but it was like 2 weeks ago. It went on one of the vinyl auction sites that I follow. I don't typically buy from there, but the seller I have a good repertoire with, and so this was kind of cool, and I needed to fill out my Prince catalog anyway, so I picked this up. This is Prince's Love a Sexy album, and if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you saw some tweets earlier this week. I had pretty much last week listened to a ton of Prince, and so if you followed my Instagram, you saw me post a lot of Prince records, and one of them that I posted was this one when it came in, but also the album that it replaced, which was Prince's The Black Album, or the Funk Bible as he wanted it to be called. This album replaced it when Prince recalled it and took it off the shelf. So I had a little poll on Instagram asking which one you prefer, Love Sexy or the Black Album. I think the Black Album won out on the poll, so that was kind of cool. But anyway, real fun to get this, and for a song too. I think I paid $18 shipped for this. This was sealed, factory sealed still, so pretty cool to get. This one I bought a couple weeks ago. It was on back order, but the price was right, so I just decided to pick it up. This is Live's Mental Jewelry album, one I'd never heard before. The only album by Live I really have ever heard before was Throwing Copper, which I already have, but on the recommendation of a few people in my vinyl forums that I follow, this was one they said to pick up, and the price was, I think, down to $15. So I just ordered it, and it finally came last week, so pretty cool to have this one as well. The next one is a pre-order that just came in. This is really cool. So sadly, I don't even have the album that he put out last year yet. I will be getting it, but every time I go to my local store, they don't have a copy and say they're going to get one, but I haven't seen it yet. So I haven't bought it yet, but this is his first album that was released finally on vinyl for the first time. This is Rustin Kelly, and this is the album Halloween, and it is absolutely fantastic. If you like Rustin Kelly is Casey Musgrave's husband, so that was really cool. She kind of helped him get his second album out there, and it's an absolutely fantastic album, highly recommended. I will own it one day, but this one came up as first time on vinyl. Rounder Records put it out, and I ordered it. The price was really low, so I just said screw it and ordered it pre-order, and it was released on Friday. So really excited about this. I listened to it, really enjoyed it a lot. All right, so I made a trip to Barnes & Noble this week for some puzzles, and of course when you're at Barnes & Noble, I have to look through their vinyl selection, and I finally just decided I had a coupon for there, and I finally just decided to pick up this album. And the funny thing about this album, but this is Allman Brothers Eat A Peach. It's an absolutely fantastic Allman Brothers album. I really enjoy this album, but every time I see it used, it's expensive, and I just don't want to pay that kind of price. So I found this at my local Barnes & Noble, and the price was what it was, but with the discounts I got it down under $30 for this remastered double LP. Brought it home, opened it up, popped disc 1 on, really enjoyed listening to that, popped what I thought was disc 2 on, and was working on some other stuff, and then finally realized that when the song Melissa came on, I had already heard that. It was on side 1 of disc 1, so I looked down and I have 2 disc 1s in my 2 LP set. So I called Barnes & Noble up and said, hey, I just purchased this album and I've got 2 copies of disc 1 and no copy of disc 2 in there. And they said, oh, okay, well, you can come and exchange it. And they said, well, do you have a copy in? I want to make sure you have a copy before I drive all the way out there to exchange it. And of course they didn't have another copy there. So then they said, well, it looks like there's copies at one of these 3 stores. Well, the closest one I called up, and they did have a copy. They put it behind the counter. I went in and opened up that copy right away in front of them, pulled out the side 3/4 LP, slid it into this case, slid the side 1/2 second copy into their case, and said, here you go. They exchanged it, no problems. It was great. And I came home and listened to sides 3 and 4 like I wanted to the first time, after a fiasco of doing that. But Barnes & Noble's great. They were really good about returning it, and so I finally had this album and was very excited about it. One more that I picked up from Barnes & Noble that I'm really excited about is this album from Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit. This is a live album, I believe, live at the Ryman from Jason Isbell. When I first listened to this on stream, I didn't like the way it sounded, and I think it was just a matter of I had a bad stream quality when I listened to it. To me, it sounded like it was recorded in the audience, but when I listened to it a second time on stream, it sounded just fine, and I had other people who were saying it's a really good live album from Jason Isbell. As you saw from last week's, or the week before's, I can't even remember, post, I think it was last week's, he came out, New West Records put out another live album from him that I picked up, and it was really good. So I just decided to pick this up. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm looking forward to spinning this one, Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit, live at the Ryman. And the last 2 that I want to show you, one of the vinyl groups that I belong to had, one of the guys reached out to me and messaged me because he knew the type of music that I really am into, and asked me if I was interested in pre-ordering the new album from this band. And it's a band that I had been meaning to listen to and get into, but hadn't really given much thought to. So he told me a couple things and said, check them out, go to their website. If you order one of the first X number of copies, it sounds like they're sending you a copy of their first album on vinyl for free along with the purchase, and it's coming in a gold packaging and all this stuff, and it's never been on vinyl before. So I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds pretty good. So I went out and looked, and I decided to just go ahead and pre-order the album, which comes out at the end of September. So sure enough, as you saw in last week's video, that album did come. The first album, Road of Life, came, and I really enjoyed it. And so I decided to go ahead and purchase a couple more of their albums this weekend on Amazon, and they came in on Sunday. So I was really excited about that, but I haven't even opened them yet. This is Whiskey Myers' Mud album, and this has got really good reviews on it, so I'm looking forward to that. If it's anything like the first one, I'm going to love it for sure. Really excited about that. And then, of course, I also picked up Whiskey Myers' Firewater, which is another album. This one I've listened to on streaming, and it's absolutely fantastic. So real excited about opening these and giving them spins. So there you have it. That is my edition of Vinyl Editions for this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe below if you're not subscribed already. Thanks for watching, and please leave comments. I love going through and reading your comments. So until next time, keep spinning vinyl, friends.